All right, hello, welcome. Episode 25 of A Few Good Mics. Back with the usual four-man crew. How's it going, everyone?
We good, homie.
Hello.
Back a Tuesday after a pretty good NFL Week 4. We saw some close games, saw some blowouts, but we'll start off with the Packers against the Bears last Thursday. They won 35-14, were in control the whole game. Saw Mike Glennon suck, which led to Trubisky being named the starter for next week. What was your guys' main takeaway from the Packer game? Nate, we'll start with you.
Well, my main takeaway is, I really can't predict the Bears this year because it's one of those things. They did well against the Steelers, they did well against Atlanta, and then they got just demolished by us. It's just one of those things. It's one of those where it's kind of hard to figure out where we're at as a team because we got a lot of guys banged up. And, I honestly was kind of nervous going into that game. I did think that Bears would put up a pretty good fight based on, what you've seen in previous weeks. But it was just kind of, but I think Mike Glennon finally has proved what we all thought he would be is just a bust. It's embarrassing that, you paying a guy $15 million a year and now he's going to sit on your bench. After what? Were we week 4? It's just, as a Packer fan, it's good to see. It's always good to beat up on the Bears. However, we played a good game and we got Adams hurt, unfortunately, and a few other things. But it's just one of those things we got to figure out, where we are as a team and, reevaluate, all these injuries that we have and see, how we're actually going to do against like the top 5 of the NFL, and that'll kind of come down to it. So,
Yeah, for sure. Mike, what was your takeaway?
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with Nate in the sense I don't know. Mike Glennon had some decent games in there. Not to say he's great or anything, but I think that with rivalry games, you just never really know. Like when we go down to Soldier Field, the Bears usually always play the Packers pretty tough. But I don't know. Like if you take a rivalry game, like you're in a divisional game like Seattle and the Rams, the last couple of years, even when Seattle's been dominant, like the only team that would beat them with the Rams is they could never like win outside of that. Like divisional games are different, I think, than regular games in that sense, and anything could happen, really. I guess. I didn't think the Packers would beat them up that bad because I didn't, like Nate said, they beat the Steelers. Well, they were close with the Steelers. They were close with Atlanta. Had a chance right there at the end. And then the other team was the Bucks. I think they got handled pretty good by. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess my biggest takeaway was in that game, Glennon looked like trash, and the Packers looked pretty good all the way around. But, yeah, I think divisional games are different.
Yeah, definitely. As I talked about in our preview segment, that I pinned us to lose a game down at Soldier Field just because Chicago always typically gives us a pretty good game. Now, the way this game started, drive down in the first drive and then strip sack on the first offensive play up 14 in the first 6 minutes. It's pretty tough to come back for any team just in that manner. And then you add on that weather delay right there. Was good for the offense to kind of get a rhythm going for the Packers. I was hoping to see the Bears put in Trubisky in the fourth quarter just because at that point it was kind of out of hand. It would have been nice to see him. We put Hundley in with like 7 minutes left. I don't want to credit that it's all Glennon's fault. I guess that first fumble on him kind of was his fault for not being apt to adjusting, but that's on the center. Yeah, the interceptions happen, but every Bears game you're going to have that. I just think from the struggles we've had as an offense, it was nice to kind of get a good blowout, get the confidence moving. But like Mike said, rivalry games, especially Packer Bears, it's hard to predict, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch like much of the game, so I had to work. But Rogers had a good game, and I mean connected with Jordy on a few touchdowns, which I think is good because I mean obviously Jordy's their biggest weapon. They need to get him going, and the offensive line played pretty well too, for the most part. And then one thing I guess I was shocked by that found out that apparently KGB had the Packers sack record. I had no idea.
Kabir Baja Biamila.
But
That's
now it's Clay Matthews. But yeah, I mean, I guess the crazy thing is about that game after the hit by that was on Devontae Adams, how he's going to end up probably playing on Sunday. I think they got pretty lucky there because of how he just laid there on the field and how dirty that hit was. No, I don't have much to say because I couldn't watch the game. So,
well, going off the just kind of the injury aspect there, with Ty having a rib injury, they say that he could be back for Sunday. I hope to God they sit him. There's no need to force him back in. I don't think having Ty is going to make or break a game against the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a tough matchup no matter who we have in the backfield. And Jones didn't look too bad for being the third string back. Not saying that he's better than Montgomery or anything like that, but I don't really think there's any reason to force him back in. And same with Adams. McCarthy has historically been very conservative about severe head and neck hits. I mean, we've all seen it with Finley Collins. So I could easily see both of them getting sit, and to be honest, I'd rather see them both sit because at this point in the season, I don't think either one of them is going to extremely influence a victory over the Cowboys, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I would just chime in. I mean, I would think you sit both of them just because, I mean, there's a lot of football left in the regular season. I mean, you don't want, you see these players trying to come back after 1 week. They probably should take 2 or 3 weeks off, and then you get subpar production out of them and whatnot. I just think, we're at a time in our season. I mean, it's not like we're at pins and needles and begging for a win. We're playing pretty decent football, to say the least. Obviously, you got all those injuries. You subtract those injuries out, and you got a pretty damn good football team. But I mean, I think if they sat Ty, if they sat, Devontae, I don't think it would be the end of the world. I mean, it just really wouldn't.
Why? I mean, if Devontae's good to come back and it's a concussion or whatever, he's ready to go. Why not play him?
Yes. See, that's what I was thinking. Just like if he's good enough to go, then, I mean, you want to see how good you are against Dallas because you probably see him in the playoffs anyway. Why not play him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just, let him go.
So I understand.
Maybe not completely don't play him, but play him limited reps. Just kind of see where feel him out, see kind of where he's at, and if he's not, anywhere near the typical Devontae Adams that that we know and love, then you kind of make that decision at halftime or whatever you need to do.
Love's a stretch, but yeah.
So, speaking of Devontae Adams, Trevathan, the guy that hit Adams, predictably got his suspension reduced from 2 to 1 games. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on that quick.
I will say that you called that.
I did. I said this is the classic NFL thing.
Yeah, I think that 1 game was a bit low. I mean, I think, a lot of times I think it is really hard. It's such a fast-paced game. It's hard to always have a perfect hit where you don't even lead with your head or whatever. But in this particular case, he was wrapped up. I mean, he was going down. If you want to go in there, just throw your shoulder at him. that's fine, whatever. But he led clearly with his helmet for several strides. I mean, it was blatant. It was very blatant. And realistically, if you watch that hit and the helmet like just deform and his mouth guard fly out and everything, like, I mean, I'm one for big hits, but if you watched the Redskins game last night when Josh Norman lit up
Kelsey.
That was a clean hit, and that's just as good, if not better. It was exciting, whatever. But I don't think you need these like helmet to helmets. And I mean, everyone's coming out with all these brain injuries and everything, believe it or not. And that's just a gruesome hit. And for me, it doesn't really do anything. I don't know. I just like to see people punished more for stuff like that. And you can still have huge hits.
Yeah, that was the thing for me. Like people trying to sort of defend, I guess, the hit, that it wasn't a dirty hit. People were saying, but it's like the guy, like you said, Mike, he was already wrapped up and going down. He wasn't going to break out of that tackle. There's just no need for it. And there's plenty of time where he didn't have to launch himself, especially because he went straight up, head down, right into his head, because his head was the only thing left to hit. So, yeah, he should have been. The suspension should have been reduced. I think that's BS.
Yeah, but I mean, the scum of the Chicago Bears, the scum of the University of Kentucky, just scum human beings. There's more than 2 games. Just a stupid little fun fact. The guy I was watching the game with, Packer fan that I'm friends with down here, was in the same dorm as that scum fucking bag at the University of Kentucky. So,
yeah, sweet fun fact there, Nate.
You don't need to be a fucking asshole about it. Just fucking sharing shit, trying to contribute. But no, I think he deserved either, it's 2 games, if not more. I mean, that you watch that hit 50 times, it's not a good hit. It's it's above the waist. He was dead play. There was no need to jack him up like that. But these rivalry games get heated, whether you like it or not, or whether we like it or not. And that's just kind of what happened. Is thank God Devontae's okay. But life goes on, and we should get him back this week. So that's all we can ask for.
Just another person to add to Nate's scumbag list, I guess.
Nate, aren't you on your own list?
On my own list. I've got my own list. I got a list of scumbags, and they're all right here.
All right, let's take a look around the rest of the league. I mean, there's some better games around on the Sunday, but let's go quick around the board and say what was a couple things that you learned from other teams, or some things you saw that you want to talk about around the league.
I got some.
Go.
New England is not the team that we thought they were.
I agree.
Well, not should, but it is very capable of being 1-3. Arguably, you could almost say that they could have easily lost all their games so far. Atlanta is a team that is 1-3. They win that game in Chicago, or lose that game in Chicago in week 1. Ball, I think the other one was tight end's name. I think a lot of people are high up on New England and Atlanta because of what their capabilities were. And I mean, they still have them, but they're not as good as we thought they were. Their defense for New England is struggling. And that's a defense that a lot of people consistently, week in and week out, have always praised. And look at who's gone into Foxborough, of all places, and tough for them. You have who at Brady Belichick being the first rookie quarterback. Well, obviously, we all saw the Chiefs demolish them, but Cam Newton in Carolina, and their offense has been somewhat stagnant this year. And then you have New Orleans, and good as people are still claiming them to be. So I guess that's one thing I want to put out there. I noticed that. I don't even, at this point, at this rate, they might get their wins, but I don't even see them making the conference championship in the playoffs. Not that their defense can start turning something around. Atlanta's offense will carry them. Teams that they've struggled against, I mean, they made Green Bay look pretty bad, but I don't think they're as high and mighty as people truly believe them to be. But that's just what I've noticed over this first month.
Did you say that you don't think the Pats will make the playoffs?
I think they'll make the championship game.
That's bold.
That is pretty bold. But I'll just shout out some stats to back up the Patriots thing. Like their defense, they're giving up the most points per game. They're second most points per game. They're giving up the most yards per game, and they're the bottom 5 in sacks too. So they're not getting any pressure on the quarterback. They're giving up a ton of yards and a ton of points. Obviously, you're not going to win many games that way. It's just they're lucky they have Tom Brady saving their ass. Like they should have lost to Houston if they didn't blow that lead with the Cooks touchdown. So, yeah, Pat, and then Tom Brady's getting hit a lot too. So, Pats have to step it up. But I'll go with one of my takeaways is are the Rams are actually pretty good, I guess, apparently.
I think it's because they finally got weapon on the outside. So that opens up the run for Todd Gurley.
They never used Sammy Watkins, but yeah, he's still there.
But he's still there. Cooper Kupp's all right, and Goff can finally throw the ball. So you can't stack everyone in the box to stop Gurley.
That's what happens when you get rid of Jeff Fisher, man.
And they have a good
things happen.
Whoa, that's a Hall of Fame coach right there.
Hall of Fame coach. All right.
I'm gonna take my little.
You're lucky you didn't get muted there, Garb.
The Dallas Cowboys. I love how Zeke actually got to play. Now I think that's a good thing because people can see what the Cowboys actually are, how good they actually are. I think that the Cowboys are similar to the Vikings when they had AP in the sense that like they can run the ball and everything, but like if you shut them down, you shut down AP, you shut down their whole game. You know, like Denver held Zeke to 8 yards or whatever, and now they're like 2-2, but you can finally see they're like not at all what everybody thought they were cracked up to be last year, like this Super Bowl caliber team. They're just average at best, and Dak is average at best. I mean, he's doing well, not turning the ball over is something he really does too, but he's not like dropping dimes. He's not a Dilford Dimer. I love it. I think the Cowboys, I mean, they might put up decent number on the Packers. The secondary is not that good, but I love how they're kind of shutting Zeke down, and that whole offense isn't like no one's raving about it like they were last year.
Well, a lot of that has to do with just the drop in production of Des Bryant, just because he's not making the big plays like he has in the past, and like you just said with the Rams, it's not helping Ezekiel Elliott and the rest of the offense much. So, and their defense isn't good enough to keep them all in games. So,
not at all.
I want to just squeeze this in there too. So, how about them Buffalo Bills, man? 3-1.
Rod's not as good as you want to say he is. It's the defense. The defense is taking them to the wins.
Defense is very good, but
shady.
It ain't Tyrod.
But you still got to get solid quarterback play to win those games, man.
Hell.
Dude, just stop.
Hey.
The Twitter vote determined it. Tyrod's trash.
Mike, you voted like 4 times in that poll. Created fake accounts, and you admitted it.
That's
so you can fuck right off.
Hey, and I told Cass to make the deciding vote, and she did. So
Yeah, and you used your fake Barstool account to vote.
I did
no,
not
too.
make my suck my.
So
Hey, I got to take.
You're
I think we got a lot of people and a lot of us that kind of. I'm not saying they're going to anywhere near the promised land, but the Jets are 2-2. Did we expect that? Especially after Jacksonville busted the crap out of the Ravens. I mean, I just kind of thought, Jets would, maybe win a game or two or three, but I mean, 2-2 is not really as bad as I thought they'd be. I would not expect them to be, somewhat in the division. I know it's just 500, but 2-2. I mean, for the Jets, I think we all were not expecting them to have 2 wins through 4 games. So,
all right, so they end up going 2-14 instead of 0-16.
They'll win more than one more game. I believe it.
So, since we're talking about the Jets,
I hope not for long.
I'm going to ignore all that and say I would have never guessed that the last undefeated team would have been the Chiefs. I mean, I know they're only 4-0 now, but really, the Chiefs are our last undefeated team representing the AFC West. I mean, the West is a good division, minus the fact that the Chargers need to figure out to put the ball through the uprights. But I never would have guessed the Chiefs to be the last undefeated team. I mean, obviously, I thought they were going to lose Week 1 at New England, but predictable this first month of football has been. You can't go in figuring out anything. It's still.
Actually, Nate saw it coming because he thought that Kareem Hunt would be the best running back in the league, even when Spencer Ware was still healthy. So
damn fucking lie.
All right.
You drafted round. You didn't know shit.
All right.
You got lucky.
I'll see you in the championship, Garb.
Yeah.
probably
Gotta
won't.
make it there.
Hey, I'm not like Mike every week. I'm not like, hey guys, look at me. I'm 3-0 in fantasy or 4-0 in fantasy this week.
Hey, 10-2, 3 leagues. Eat a dick.
We're getting off track.
yeah. So is that all you guys' takes on the on week 4?
3-0 this week. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, no one gives a shit except for you. All right, so we'll move
The only
on.
thing I-
Team does.
The only thing I want to say at this point, and I don't want to go on a conversation on this whole unity protest stuff. I just want to move on from it. It's starting to take a little too much away from what the game really is, and I think we got to move on from. Make your voice heard. I get it. Let's just get back to the game now. That's all I'm asking.
I just want to touch on this briefly.
Oh God.
So, with it all and the kneeling and everything, I had heard via the radio that the NFL was suffering a little bit of a decline in views. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But Sunday Ticket, as you guys I'm sure heard, was offering people a refund because of the situation.
Yes, that is a fact.
If they're doing that, that to me is a big step. That's pretty crazy. And I personally talked to a few people at my work that refuse to watch it and are avid football fans, like refuse to watch the NFL at all, which to me was just crazy. I didn't realize people were taking it this far.
If you're boycotting the NFL over that, then you weren't really an NFL fan.
See, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think if you believe in certain things, I don't know if that's necessarily true. And one other thing I'm going to point out before you go ape shit on your Black Lives Matter parade is that when you go to work, when you go to your job or whatever, you can't go to your work with like a Confederate flag or anything. Can you? Garb, can you? I don't think Mooney can roll in the work. Like you wear a uniform or you wear something, you are at your job, you are performing, you are doing this, So when you're an NFL player, you are at work, you are doing your job. I feel like you have to abide by, policy or whatever. Like to me, that's something that should be more important than, I can't do whatever I want to work. I can't just ignore people because I don't believe that they're like whatever. I don't believe that it's right. Maybe I believe that certain things are happening. I can't just not do something about it. I think that same type of rule should apply.
Well,
I'm almost
NFL, like sports in general, it's the only job anywhere where you have the national anthem playing every time you perform your job. So it's like can't really factor that in. And then it's like there's no policy where you have to do anything during that. So
there's a policy in NASCAR.
Yeah, NASCAR, they all stand. And here's the thing that makes America, when we play those games in London, makes us look stupid because, oh yeah, we're not going to stand for our own flag. But, when the British flag and the British anthem come through, we're going to stand. And it's just like, all these people over there are probably like, what the hell is wrong with those Americans? Because, there is a viewership of the NFL over there. So, I just think, I agree. You, as an NFL player, you have a platform. You can use that social platform to however you want to do it. But nobody respect the flag. Nobody's saying anything about all these police brutalities or whatever. Just respect the flag. Respect the people that allowed you to be an NFL player. Respect the people that allowed you to, have the right to step on that field. That's just the way I look at it. And personally, I have an NFL Sunday ticket, and there's no way in hell I'd ever cancel it. So that's my take.
Go ahead. So you wouldn't even cancel it if the NFL downsized to like 3 teams and
all right, that's going off on a limb, but
yeah, I could, and a lot of people would. Well, I could say I would, and then counter Nate's argument saying like they also like the veterans and all that like allow you to exercise your First Amendment rights. So it's the same thing basically, but so I don't know. Let's move on from that. We didn't want to get into a conversation. So
thanks, Mike.
Baseball playoffs start tonight. If anyone, I know currently the Yankees are up 7-4, bottom of the 6th. So we'll sort of discount tonight's game, but quickly, who do you guys have in the World Series? And who do you got winning? Nate, you've been paying the least attention, so let's go with you.
I think, if I'm looking at AL, I think as far as, a team that'll make another push, I don't think the Cubs will get back in the NL, but I do think the Indians will make a push again. And then in the NL, I think the NL is kind of a toss up. I think it could go anyway. But I think the Dodgers also could be, finally bring that title back to LA. So I mean, I see it as a Dodgers. Only of course because the Brewers didn't make it, but Dodgers and Indians in the World Series.
And then who do you got winning that?
I would say the Indians. They're gonna get their title that they should have won last year.
All right, okay. I'll or who wants to go next? Is you, Guard?
I'll jump in. Nate, kind of. I mean, I don't follow baseball terribly much. I know the basic essence of what's going on. I was gonna say Cleveland as well. I think Cleveland really got a great hot streak there towards the end of the year. I think it's something they're going to really be able to ride out. I think they have a lot of fire in them to want to revenge that 3-1 loss they had last year. I think they have the best opportunity to take the series. And same with LA. I think LA just has got so many factors on their team to propel them through. I think the Nationals will give them the most struggle if they end up playing. I can't remember how the playoff brackets are actually working out, but I think the Dodgers end up taking the NL, but I wouldn't be surprised if Washington gets through as well. But either way, whoever they play, I'm taking Cleveland to win it.
I think, like you said, the Dodgers, but I think it won't be as close as you think. I think the Dodgers will walk that side in the National League, and I like Boston coming out of the American League. I think the Indians are good, but I think the Boston's just got like their pitching staff, and their bats are a lot better. Plus, I something to it's always the hot hand, and Cleveland is coming off that really hot hand, and I think that's always good. But I don't know. I don't feel like you can't be that good for that long. They just won like how many games straight and everything, and now I just feel like they're going to start to slump. It's not a limb.
All right, and then I'll go on the National League side. I'll go with the Washington Nationals. They got a good starting staff, and I'd like to see Bryce Harper in there. And then on the American League, I got the Houston Astros. I think the trade for Verlander puts them over the top. And then I got the Astros winning the World Series. So there you go. That's our playoff preview. Now let's move on to our next preview. NHL season starts tomorrow. Don't know if how much you guys have been paying attention to the off season, or did even know the season actually starts tomorrow. I know Mike does, but
well, it seems like we got ourselves a Golden Knights fan in the house 1 year, and Mooney's on the bandwagon.
Hey.
Can't be. I always thought it was. I don't think you can not be, or bandwagon wise. I didn't know expansion teams there was such thing as a bandwagon in their first year.
Yeah, my mom went to Vegas, got a shirt, I threw it on. So y'all can shut up. You know where my allegiances lie.
Yeah, you freaking Vikings fan.
Yeah, you've Hawks fan since 2013.
Hey, I want to say first. I just want to say first, I think Connor McDavid takes the Art Ross Trophy this year.
Again. Back to back.
I know. The guy's good. I just want to be the first one to say it before anyone else tries to steal my thunder. So,
not as good as Austin Matthews.
Well,
no.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
He's getting that Calder Trophy.
I'll take it a step further and say that McDavid will take the Oilers to the Cup final.
Ooh, no!
I'm gonna go there, man.
Well, they've had enough.
They got
high-end
years.
The question's going to be their goaltending. I think they're going to have to make a trade at the deadline, but you look at them, they got Draisaitl and Lucic to go alongside McDavid. They got good defensemen too.
They don't got Taylor Hall or Nail Yakupov anymore, kid. Keep dreaming.
Yeah, well, Yakupov blew ass, and Taylor Hall is not doing shit with the Devils anyway, so...
Hey, I think Matthews, Marner, and Nylander for the Leafs might have a good chance of making the Cup too.
The Leafs are going to the playoffs for sure.
Oh, for sure. I think they might be at least a year away before making the Cup final, but they'll be in the conversation though.
Pens will go back.
Yeah, I got if I were to make it like who's going to make it to the Cup final, I'll go with the Oilers and the Penguins. Just don't see who in the East is going to knock them off.
So I can't remember this, so I just want to ask it. Are NHL players not able to play Winter Olympics now, or what's going on with that? I remember there was something going on.
No, it's just amateur hockey players this year.
Okay.
So, and a quick note on that: obviously Ovi is expressed how pissed he is about that, or disappointed he is, and NBC, they've also decided to not show any NHL games on TV while the Olympics are going on. So it's a bit of a fuck you to Gary Bettman.
Everyone hates Gary Bettman.
Fuck Gary Bettman.
Gary.
So, can we get some official predictions from the rest of you guys?
Of who's going to go to the Stanley
Yeah,
Cup?
who's going to go to the Cup final and who's going to win?
Well, I like the Penguins to go back because I don't think they've lost much, to be honest with you.
Just Fleury, from what I can remember.
And Fleury didn't even really play.
Yeah, it's all Matt Murray.
They're another year better, another year chemistry there. They're good. They've been good for a while. And then I would like to see the Preds go back. Lost a little bit, but I don't know. The thing with hockey is it's a lot like college basketball. There's just you never really know.
All right, Darb, you're next. Who's going to go?
All right. Going back just because they're so good. They have so much talent. I don't want to see, but I don't see anybody really getting in their way. I guess I'm thinking. Why am I spacing on it? Who did the Penguins beat last year to get to the Cup?
To get there or to win the Cup?
Yeah, to get to the Cup.
I think
Anaheim.
It was
Senators.
Oh, it was Ottawa.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Who's the team with that fucking Kessel guy?
That's the Ducks.
It's the Ducks. They're in the West. Let's who the Preds beat.
Thank you. I think the Ducks. I couldn't think of who the fuck the team was. I think they'll come. I don't like their style of play. Obviously, we all think they're pretty dirty. They got enough. What?
Said you think?
Think what? I'm going on a limb here. You know I don't know shit about hockey.
You and Nate are the best at going on limbs.
All right, so Ducks and Penguins, who's winning?
Go Ducks.
All right, the Mighty Ducks win the Cup, according to Garb.
Fucking loser.
All right, Mike, did I ever get an official answer out of you, just to who wins the Cup?
We got Penguins on a three-peat.
All right, Nate, where do you stand?
The Western. I think the Kings will get back to where they need to be. Just kind of like I said, like Garth said, going off on a limb, and then I think a surprise team that some people are going to be surprised about. I'm not going to pick Pittsburgh. The Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes are kind of coming off, a season that is a lot of rebuilding. However, I think that they will get to the promised land finally. So I'm taking the Hurricanes, and then I'll take the Kings. And I'll take the Kings winning.
Hurricanes, Kings. If that is the Stanley, if one of them make the Stanley Cup, dude, I will give you $100.
$100. That's it.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, I'll give you $300 cash. If
all right,
those two teams make the Stanley Cup, and if they don't, you owe me $100.
All right, I'm not taking that deal. I don't want to owe you shit.
What, dude?
That talk about going off on a limb. The fucking Hurricanes.
That's a limb. That's a limb.
When's the last time they made the playoffs?
Bleacher Report said that they are an improved Eastern Conference foe for the Penguins this year. So, shout out to Bleacher Report.
The fuck does Bleacher Report know about hockey?
Everything. Hey, they know more about hockey than Pro Football Focus knows about football. So, get the hell out.
All right, Nate. So yeah, then I'll say that the Oilers and the Penguins get the three-peat. So
Boring.
I think, yeah. Well, at least I won't owe fucking Mike $100.
Yeah, I never shook on it.
Why you guys are not confident at all in your team? Like, you picked them. I didn't pick them.
That's what happens when you move 500 miles away just to intentionally not have to shake hands with Mike.
You picked them.
Scared ass.
Whatever, dude.
All right. We didn't get it last week, so it's time to make its return. Garb, we need a WWE update. You got anything for us?
Yeah, I got a few things here. First off, yes, I believe going back to that podcast, I was every single match. However, I'm learning, I guess. Second, I'd like to make it clear that the Big Show and the quote-unquote yes man did not have this where Rey Mysterio all of a sudden just won. But that would have been a good match. We do have Hell in a Cell this weekend. The main match there is Shane McMahon against Kevin Owens in the cell. Tag team match between Usos and New Day. Women's title match. But obviously the big draw there is Shane McMahon. And so I don't honest card off the top of my head. So I will quick look that up. This week I can do a little better with my predictions. I thought my explanations a few weeks ago were I felt that way, but obviously the writers and I was wrong. But so looking at this year's matches, God damn it! I know I'm missing a big one. I think it's U.S. Championship. I think right, Baron Corbin and AJ Styles, including Ty Dillinger to make it a three-way match. I don't think that's been made official yet. Randy Orton's going up against Rusev in a regular match against SummerSlam. I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as No Mercy. No Mercy's matches were great. As a lot of you all saw, literally put his teeth into his gums. He didn't break his teeth. They actually went into the top of his jaw, which is kind of cool to show that wrestling is, you think. Yeah, Mike. Tune into this Sunday. I guess I don't really got a lot of predictions here. I think Kevin Owens is going to continue his onslaught on Shane. I just don't see any reason why they give the win. The story goes with that. They've been really building Kevin over the past month. Shinsuke, I think they got to get that title off of Jinder Mahal, but where that storyline's even going, it's hard to say. I guess I don't really have good predictions or reasons why. We'll just go with Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura. I think the Usos take the titles from New Day. Be nice to see Charlotte Flair win the championship from Natalya. She's been kind of gone with all the stuff going on with Rick. Sounds about it. He's doing pretty well, though, and out of the hospital doing good. And I see AJ Styles keeping the U.S. championship. So, again, kind of unprepared update. So, thank you.
Well, no predictions, but at least we got the segment back. So, all right. So, next up is our Few Good Minutes segment. So, anything you guys have seen in the last week since we last did the podcast that you guys want to talk about? Now is the time to do it. I'll randomly select it, and Nate, go.
Why is it always me? Badgers got a decent win to open up Big Ten play on Saturday. I thought we played fairly well. I thought, Northwestern is kind of a team in the Big Ten that always keeps people up for the K. I can't talk. Northwestern's kind of a team that, can bring the heat when you want them to. But, I think Dakota Dixon sealed it at the end with the safety to allow Northwestern not to come back. I can't figure out anything about Hornibrook. It's just, you see one good game out of him. I guess he was playing BYU. I get it, but I'm just nervous with him going into Big Ten play that he's not going to cut it. He's going to be like a Danny O'Brien that we had to deal with in the past, and then he's going to get dumped mid-season for our backup. But they look good. But I mean, I think they got a long way to go if they want to, have that perfect season. So go Badgers.
All right, Garb, you are up next. You got a special topic for us, apparently.
Alrighty. So I've been trying to get this into the show for a while now, and I've gotten approval for today. NASCAR. We're in the playoffs here. It's just down. We still got 12 people in the standings. Currently, Truex Jr. is leading that out. Got Kyle Busch in second, Keselowski fourth. We even got Wisconsin boy Matt Kenseth in 11th. Main thing I want to go off here is it's send off for Dale Earnhardt Jr. This being his last season, and he made it clear early on he was retiring. I was hoping that he could make a nice run to finish the year out and kind of pay some homage to his father, who really made a huge impact on the sport. Not everything ends as into the heat of things, though. I know this week we got Charlotte, and then coming up we got Talladega and Kansas, so we'll see what really goes about with the playoffs there. To be quite honest, I don't know much about how it works or anything about that. I typically tune in to watch the crashes. So maybe in a few weeks I'll give you some more updates about that and my final 2 minutes.
All right, thanks for that. I'll go up next and just laugh at LSU for a little bit. They lost at home to Troy, paid them almost $1 million to come for their homecoming game, and they fucking lost. I thought that was hilarious. Then Troy ended up making things worse and throwing some salt in the wound there and tweeting about it. Hey, thanks for having us down for homecoming. We really enjoyed it. And now there already talks about Ed Orgeron being fired as head coach at LSU. A good couple games in, halfway through the first year. So have fun with that, SEC.
What did you think was going to happen with no Les Miles, old boy?
Well, Les Miles got fired because he couldn't develop a quarterback. So,
as he never has been able to.
Don't need a quarterback in the SEC.
Well, when you have guys like Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry come through the program and they were almost unheard of in college, but now they're stars in the NFL. I mean,
it's called late bloomer, dude.
Well,
it's called Matt Flynn, dude.
Okay, where is this going?
It's not going anywhere. Mike, what do you got for us?
I'm going to use my 2 minutes. It's actually going to be like 25 seconds. And going to be dedicated straight to Nate for wearing the same More Cowbell shirt that he wore last podcast. So
it's been washed.
Dude hasn't changed in a week.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll believe if that's washed or not.
Just pulled out today, old boy.
Oh, boy.
You're disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross, dude. You don't even wash your clothes. All right, no comeback apparently. All right, so
you wouldn't give me a comeback. Asshole muted.
He gave you plenty of time for a comeback.
Yeah, you gave me like 5 seconds.
That's a lot of time.
What is that, a 5-second rule? What the hell?
Yeah, it is, and you're done. Okay, so that does it for episode 25 of A Few Good Mics, whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on iTunes. We appreciate the listen. Check out the website, afewgoodmics.com. Follow us on Twitter, the whole deal. And we'll see you next week.